Hey folks, today we're going to discuss a little bit about maintenance of the knives and your gouges a little bit. That's one of the biggest asked questions is how do I keep my knife sharp? So I'm just going to show you, a little bit. This is just a piece of basswood, but I'm here on the cross grain area, and that's where I always test my knives or any knives that I sharpen for folks. I always test it going cross grain, not with the grain, because it's going to want to, usually a dull knife will cut just fine with the grain, but it's going cross the grain. Alright, so that's what I'm looking for in a good sharp knife, all this sheen left there. So how I do that is we're just going to start simply with a hand strop, and this is flex cut gold. I like it because it rubs on there just like a crayon. How much? Just enough, like so. I'm going to show you the barber roll. This is one of the easiest ways to learn to strop your knife. All of my knives are sharpened flat, so I want to make sure that blade is flat. If you've got a flex cut knife or something like that, you may want to match the bevel. So, meaning you have to tip it up a little bit. So what do you mean by bevel, Coach? Well, let's talk about, drag it out here. On this box cutter I've got here, you can see this little edge right down here. This is your bevel. I wouldn't need to sharpen this. I could, but if I'm wanting to strop this bevel, see, I have to be up about like so. Alright? And the same thing over here. I need to be at about this degree for working on a steep degree bevel like that. But we're dealing with carving knives, so I just want to keep the blade flat or match the bevel. But on my knives, keep them flat. Pull it, roll the back, and push it. And just repeat that. Just always roll the back. Pull it, roll the back, push it. How many times do I need to do this? 10, 12 times, not 10, 12, 24, however many times it takes. But that's where your block of wood will come in. That'll tell you, grab the block of wood. And of course, we're already dealing with a sharp knife here, so, that cutting cross grain is going to tell you whether the knife is sharp or not. So the other way that I'm going to show you in my preferred method is the little drill mount. Okay, we're over here at the drill. This is just a reversible drill. Got your reverse switch here, and it does have a lock button. This little apparatus here is a drill mount. Dyco Products makes those and sells them. So I'm just going to put this in here. I kind of keep mine in a little happy medium here because if I've got a scratch in my blade, that's where I'll use these leather wheels made by Power Strop is the name of those. And but I only use the leather when I need to. If I've been cutting cottonwood bark, Alright, the thing about this wheel though is if you've been carving the cottonwood bark, you'll get little scratches in your blade, so most folks will want to either go to a sharpening stone or either some type of device like a Burke sharpener and use the grit. So the main thing is I'm not wanting to be on the grit, the compound is the grit. As long as it's leaving a black mark, that shows you it's cutting. And I'm using the back edge of that knife, but it's leaving a black mark, so that tells you that it's cutting the steel. So this is just a little loose wheel right here. It's not sewn, so this way I can do V-tools and gouges and all that sort. But I'm just going to want to make sure I got it rotating away from me. I don't want it rotating down, because if I go in here and approach it wrong, it could throw it back into my leg or my stomach or somewhere else I'd just soon not mention. But I want to make sure the rotation is going right. I want to apply the compound. Alright, I'm going to slow this down and explain. Your mandrel is here. You've got a margin of safety from here to here. So I just tell everybody stay directly above the mandrel. I'm going to match the bevel. I'm going to stay flat, and that is the key. Flat, and I'm going to make this pattern and this pattern. Okay? Now the main thing is I am flat. I'm not tipping it up. Okay? Flat. Alright, so I'm just going to turn this on and just show you just in real time. This is after carving, 15, 20, 30 minutes at a time, whether it be in basswood or whatever, this may change. So this is just all you need to do. Make sure it's going right. Just that quick. Alright? So, in other words, you're ready to go back to carving. Alright? If you've still got a scratch, like I was talking about with the cottonwood bark, you've got the scratch, that's where the leather wheels come in. So, I'll just simply rotate this up, open up the jaws to 1/4 inch, lay that in there. Here's our, again, this is our grit. This drill turns about, I don't know how many RPM, but it's not enough to burn your steel. So there again, find the rotation. There again, you don't want the cutting edge turned in there. So you want to make sure you got your blade laid flat. Bring your body. Notice I've got my hand up against my belly here, and everything's tied in close. Be very aware of this little metal piece here. So lay your blade down flat or match your angle for those of you that have a flex cut knife, and just kind of quick little, bow. See that motion? I'm just kind of leaning in and out with that blade. Alright, this usually works about 98% of the time of removing scratches. I'm going to hit this little reverse button down here. Double check it. I'm going to lay the blade down flat. Alright, there we go. We've got gunk all over the blade. So what do I do now? Alright, maybe want to check little spots right here where you may not have got it. Reverse it. Make sure you lay it down. This is a flexible blade knife. So there, I make flexible blade knives, so there again, I have to get in on that tip a little bit. So basically, we're left with all this black gunk. So I'm just going to change back to this loose buffing wheel and buff it off, and we'll be ready back to carve. Just make sure you don't get this chucked in wrong, because you can, on these little diameter, you can make them run funny if you get them chucked in wrong. So there again, double check it. The mandrel is telling me it's running straight, so I've not got it chucked in wrong. So there again, I'm just going to kind of use it to buff the black gunk off of here. And I'm ready to go back to carving. Now, don't tell my wife I'm doing this, so I've learned to use the underside of my shirt to wipe the blade off. Then we can come back to our basswood and go back to carving. Now, a lot of folks are going to say, yeah, this is going to round your tool off. But the thing of it is, if you maintain the blade flat and flat, you're going to spend more time carving and less time sharpening. All kind of complicated and expensive machines that you don't have to use. You can break it right down to something very portable or something even more portable than that. And you don't have to worry about messing up quite as much on your hand strop. So good little hand strop or good little device like this, that's all I use to maintain my tools. So happy carving, and hope that answers some of your sharpening or maintenance questions. So till next time,